Bernie Sanders closes gap with Hillary Clinton to within 4 points in the International Business Daily Poll, Part 2. So this inequality has also led to differentials in life expectancy between the poor and the rich that are widening. This inequality has become a cancer, deadening our national discourse through a shockingly warped corporate media. Once you have been to the other side, that is, to the social media, the online communities that exist today, and start reading the news through the alternative means, uh, it is difficult to look at the conventional media again in the same light. Here on the social media and online, we see people talking about illegal renditions, wiretappings, corporate fraud, illegal invasions based on lies, loans to developing countries meant to ensnarl them and make it easier for multinationals to obtain ownership of their natural resources. The list extends indefinitely and infinitely, and much of it can be found on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Yet those inside the Washington bubble scarcely see these things nor care about them because they are not like the mirror of the witch queen in Snow White. They do not reflect back what the class inside the bubble want to hear. Therefore, they pay less attention to it. Corporate media showers them with attention and money and power. Hillary Clinton represents centrist power. Her message is to manage the interests competing poles. But such a party, the standard bearer of the Democratic Leadership Council, founded by the Clintons to create a corporate backing for the Democratic Party, runs the risk of drawing them to opportunists. And those opportunists may discard Ms. Clinton as the ship sinks. Hillary is a very intelligent and, I imagine, a very decent woman. And well liked, and has served the community in many, many important ways, such as having attempted to get us universal health care. But the $300,000 a pop speeches, which our presidents are feted with after office, should not be allowed under new anti-bribery statutes that we should put in place to cement the firewall between industry and government. Industry and government fused by secretive agreement is a hallmark of fascist and right totalitarian regimes. That firewall must ban for life senior military officials from working at defense contractors. If they need to work there, they should go back on the clock on their normal salary, and the government should bill their services, and the difference should be used to offset the military budget. Stronger firewalls between people who influence and shape policy, such as Congress, and the interests who financially benefit from those policies must be erected. Every effort must be allowed to allow normal people to serve in office. The best way to do this is to restructure our voting system. People should be allowed, for example, to vote directly online on legislation, to have a way to override your legislator, or to develop a third house of Congress, which is pure internet or online voting governance. We should have multi-party democracy, a two-party system with these Byzantine rules about delegates and super delegates and caucuses and voting machines that sometimes are problematic, and closing of voter registration offices and throwing people off the rolls who are felons or ex-felons, even sometimes dissuading people who have re-earned their rights to vote from voting. This Byzantine system with all of its roadblocks to prevent the common people to express their will cannot be called democratic at this point. Calcification is set in, venality, and I think this is apparent to a lot of people. Hillary Clinton, however, decided that she could play God in Libya. She called for Gaddafi's murder capture when she was in Tripoli in October of 2011, her only visit there for a few hours, flanked by 5,000 Marines. The next day he was indeed murdered, stabbed in the rear with a Gerber hunting knife, a commando type of weapon. He was penetrated anally from the rear with it multiply. His convoy was struck and was immolated by NATO drones and fighters as it attempted to flee Sirte. And then the survivors were worked over by the Misratans, which is a city that was on the total opposite side of Gaddafi in the internal politics. It was between the many cities had ties to Gaddafi and the socialists, but Misrata was the main city battling Gaddafi in the outbreak. Uh, the cities like Bani Walid, the headquarters of the largest tribe in Libya, was very sympathetic to Gaddafi. In fact, many Gaddafi loyalists fled to Bani Walid. But Misrata was a thorn in Gaddafi's side, and it was the Misratans that got hold of the remnants of his caravan. It was this Misratans funded by Qatar and with the rest of Libya taken over by jihadists that were had served in groups like Al Qaeda, and these were combined with some elements of a persecuted minority in North Africa, the Berber or the Amazigh. And these groups in combination worked to bring down Gaddafi. Not a broad social movement. We saw in Egypt where millions came on the street. And in fact, the protests were triggered by the relatives of people that we would consider Islamic extremists. And some who had fought in Afghanistan and Iraq. Never did we see hundreds of thousands on the street, as would have been appropriate for their population. The largest were probably rallies partially coerced for Gaddafi. So this is why I cannot support Hillary Clinton, is the utter and total destruction of Libya, which was totally unnecessary, as the previous government begged to provide elections, and Hillary was to have none of it. Somebody told her, if you want us to take him down, we'll take him down. And she said, take him down. She didn't think about anything else. And she had a shot at it. There could have been this fairy tale democracy, but the means are the ends. So from my point of view, Libya was a serious war crime. And if you had lived there, if you had had a father who had worked for the government there, a brother who had been in their armed forces, there are people there that are happy about the intervention, but they are in the minority. So we have Bernie Sanders now potentially in the lead to be president of the United States. And all of these parties are beginning to sweat. The pundits and the newsmen, as they hopefully realize their horse race analysis, which does not help anyone understand or solve anything, may become passé in a Sanders administration. And the accumulators, or as Fox News likes to call them, the job creators. It's not just that they will pay more taxes. They will also be less important. And worse than that, the country will have said, we want to know how the person in the middle is doing, not watch yet another video of your mansion or crib. My name is Alexander Hagan. I endorse Bernie Sanders and suggest that you do the same. Good night and good luck.